Holy crap, we are done with this game, finally. Hey everyone, Necronite here. Today we are gonna play Number 13 the Remake. The very first time when I started to play the game, I recognized really cool elements that they changed in the game. But you guys actually gonna see that some of the things have pretty much changed for the worse. Oh, and just for the record, we're gonna play on the highest difficulty setting, just to make sure that the game still holds up to the old standards of being difficult at all. So the game starts with an FBI agent that walks into the room and just pretty much watching the old intro of the game. That's pretty much a nice recall for the original intro and also for the older version of the game, because you as the person can the very first time just experiencing the intro, if you never actually played, the original one. After the intro is ended, the FBI agent just gonna walk out and leave the room, and we immediately got teleported to the first scene of the game, which is the beach part that everybody knows and loves. We all love Brighton Beach. So why did the video start with pretty much thanking the Lord that I finished with the game? Is it so bad that much that you should never try yourself playing this remake? It's pretty much not, but I have to remind you guys that this game in the 2000s was a masterpiece in my opinion, because the gameplay was right on point. You could also do many different things in the game, and it was pretty much kept truly heartedly for the comics. But with this remake, they tried to aim it towards more likely the shooting guns and making more action type rather than being an agent. Okay, so let's talk about the gameplay. So in the first few levels, you're probably not gonna recognize too many problems with the game, because you're not gonna get your hands on too many guns.
Do you think you can make it to the
also
truck?
all the tools that are gonna be available for you throughout the game. But the controls itself was changed into a better direction, that's for sure, that's guaranteed, that's a plus. But what happened with the other things in the game, such as there were pretty much way better options in the older installation and the original version than this one. And what I mean by that is there are several problems with the boss fights in the game that you guys are also gonna see later on in this video. What I mean by that is pretty much they added a mechanism to the boss fights where it makes it way easier to defeat the bosses. That means you can basically just stun them right at the place, and you're just being done with that. A few positive changes is just like this moment right here when we actually had the control over the character on the board, but here in this remake they actually switched it up, so you really not have any control whatsoever over your character at this scene. So they try to pretty much aim for a more cinematic approach, which is kinda good actually.
Ow.
Another big plus with the gameplay is actually the handling of the guns. What I mean by that is you can reload faster, switch between weapons even faster, plus you have the quick switch option with a menu that is just rolling out, so it's like having a cycled menu where you can select any of the weapons just like in any modern game right now. And that's pretty much really good approach to making an older game, trying to be way more modern in that approach. Plus animation wise you can see it's way more fluid, plus we have more things on the screen than previously. So what I mean by that is there is more blood to certain scenarios, there is also way more objects in overall any of the rooms. You can also find collectibles such as golden statues and documents. And here is another really good example, the visual bank. As you can see, it feels way more lively because of the colorization and the changes in the texture. And keep in mind that the game already foreshadowing most of the enemies here, because all of the models that used here in the bank scenario, you're gonna see them later on in the game over and over. Plus here, the interaction with the player as well to get into the line just feels natural. And here is another really good example for more interactions in the game. So it's a small thing, but it's worth to be mentioned. So basically we just have to put down the key on the table and make an exchange. Or like a little bit later when we actually the first time interacting with Jones.
Listen, Mongoose has found you. Meet me on the roof. And don't go using G-Men.
Not a big and effective change, but a more welcome one. Oh, and speaking of which, controls. Here we're gonna get introduced to the grappling hook mechanism, which in the first game was pretty much complicated to say the least, because you couldn't even use a gun while you are on grappling hook. But here, in this game, oh boy, did they learn the mistakes? Yes, they freaking did. So yet again, another big plus. Oh yeah, and did I already mention you guys the sniper scene on the rooftop?
I'm waiting on a call from an informant. He knows where they're holding Carrington.
Over there, with the woman!
Yeah, sometimes we just have to let the game speak for itself. I guess that's a really good example for you and for me, that when you wanna make something a little bit more intense and maybe just actionful, sometimes you don't even need to say too much words. And now here is where the problems start. As you can see, I had lots of guns on me, lots of ammunition and whatever. But here, later, when we get to another level, I only have the armor and the full HP, but way less options for guns and ammunition. Well, that's pretty much a way to screw with the players. Huh? Interesting, in the original game we didn't even have a mechanism like this, because you were forced to actually look for more ammunition, keep the ammo on you all the time, and not trying to waste your resources. But in this version, well, you pretty much told that screw you, no matter what you collected in the previous level, you're not gonna have them on the next level. I'm just gonna showcase you one more example. So here I have 5, and here I have only 1. Wow, magically disappearing. And yes, you can argue with me on that this is only for the purpose of making the game way more difficult. Oh really? And what about this? Or what about this? Or this? Or even that one. Yeah, this is what the game is doing with you when you are on a save file while you actually, you know, in a pretty bad pity situation where you can't even load in a previous one. Oh, and yeah, keep an eye out for collectibles. They are pretty much most of the times right there on the spot, but they are well hidden as well. And here's another good example of making some of the game elements modern, such as some guns can actually overheat. And here's another really good example of creating a map with full of life, nature, and some extras that makes just it stands out. And when you're actually playing that map, you're not gonna feel like, oh, this place is so fucking empty. No, it's filled with life. You have a bunch of trees, you have snow, you have things that you can interact with, plus new places added to certain maps, which is great. Well done, guys. And speaking of which, keeping some old elements and memories from the previous game is really a nice touch. Here you can see that the snowman part, which is really famous on this level, is still kept. Or when the bandits show up to catch you, it's actually done in a cutscene.
Welcome to Kansas, Dorothy.
And here is another good example of transition done in a bad way, because you can actually clearly see that the village is pretty close, but when we get there, it's nighttime and we just passed the village. Wow. Well, here we go again, another good example of not utilizing the objects and overall the map design itself is when you are finally free from captivity in the cells and you can just go back, roam around, look around and wonder if what is behind those bars, and you can't even get there. No jokes. Jokes aside, you can't go anywhere here. You can just look around, and see if you actually missed anything, like under the table or like here on the chair we had some knives. But that's pretty much it. You can't even find anything else here, and you can't even interact with anything else less than those knives. A little bit later we get into this area where is this big hall where we have lots of objects and only 2 guards. No joke, there was only 2 guards here. You can't even find any more than a few ammunition, medkits, armor and whatever. And there is not even a single Dragunov placed here. In the original version we had a sniper rifle right here in this place, and there is none. And the same thing just happens on the roof. When you get there, you see there is 4 to maximum 5 guards patrolling and trying to stop you. But if you get a closer look around you, there is not much that you can actually get and collect. You can maybe find a little bit more ammo plus a few collectibles, but basically that's it. But here we have also another positive change to the game, where the crazy convict is just trying to escape and having this pretty much interesting conversation with the already dead guard.
Why won't you talk to me, Miss Jameson? It's not that bad. Come on, put your head back.
Oh, and if you wonder why I didn't shoot the guy right here, right now, at the moment, and you had the chance, it's because you just can't. You have to watch the whole thing just unfold. One more thing that I found interesting is that you can actually knock out the civilians. Another pretty cool attention for detail is when these panels are appearing on your screen and you can actually see what happens between 2 other characters, even if you are not nearby, but you can hear them.
The door's locked. Open the door, Dr. Johansson!
And here is one of the first examples of why I hate the boss fights in the game. Holy cow, here we go. So you can actually just stun them every single time when you're hitting them on the head, and the boss fight itself becomes way easier than it, I guess, intended to be. So mass murdering guards is cool, but killing convicts is not cool. They are innocent, right? Yeah, sure, man. So you're taking this girl hostage, and she is being like, I'm never gonna forget you. Yeah, I know, after just traumatizing someone in a car chase. I guess you're just not gonna, forget them after a while, but hey, it is what it is for peoples, I guess.
Good luck!
And here are a few more examples of just making cutscenes and cinematics better.
Okay. What do you say we hop on down to Mexico, Captain?
Margaritas on the beach?
More like Rangers and Red Berets. Tighten up your panties, we're going supersonic.
This could be another one of that blonde's con jobs.
I trust her.
Uh-huh. You save her life, and she splits.
Jealous, Major?
Just get in the damn boat.
And a few more boss fights just to make sure that you guys are just getting the overall idea why I hate those and why I just like the original one way better. The vibe check is out of the roof, but when it comes to the representation of the fight, it's just stupid. Oh, and just look at the NPC and the AI itself, how it behaves in the fight. Yeah. Hello? Is it actually a fight? I mean, hello? Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that rocket launchers and the grenades are just way too OP. We are a well-suited man for the job, right? Yeah, sure, man. But you can't even hold your freaking breath for like 2 minutes underwater. So I can showcase to you guys many more examples what just happens in this game, and most of the things that they try to change for the better actually change for the worse. Just like in this case where we have to find the freaking helicopter as a boss fight, you have like limited ammunition, so you actually have to move around in this area where we have the warehouses and everything. But a little bit later I'm gonna show you that there is actually an easier way to defeat the helicopter, which is we have a warehouse where we have stored like lots of rockets on a freaking shell, dude. No jokes, you will see. So yeah, remember guys, we started with 4 rockets and we have here like 7. And you only have to hit it 8 times, 8 freaking times, and you have more than 11 ammunition scattered around the whole place. And do you guys even know what is the most disappointing about the whole game is when you get to the final boss, the mongoose itself, and you waited for it, you want to get revenge. Jonas helps you, this is all a big cinematic fight as everybody liked it in the first game, and now you just do the same thing as every single time, and with every single boss encounter that you had in the game, you shoot him many times in the head, stunning him. I barely survived here, but because of my own mistake. But still I managed to kill him the first time. Dude, this is just awful, awful, man. And where are you, number 1? Please, just
the
please,
fireworks not
please,
to your liking, Mr. Fly.
custody. Get me out of this game, please. Thank you so much, thank you. Oh my god, fucking finally we are done with this shit. Holy cow. Okay, so here are my last thoughts about the game. It was playable. At the very first time when you're gonna play it, you're gonna enjoy it. Probably on lower difficulties as well, but if you're asking me, you can just start to play the game on the highest difficulty. It doesn't really matter. It's not even offering you any big challenges that you cannot even face yourself. So yeah. Anyway, let's see. The gameplay wise, the game is nice, playable, but you're not gonna enjoy it like repeatedly playing it, so just play it through once and you are done with it. Also, animation wise, it was fine, it was not something unique or super, but holy cow, dude, the boss encounters are just disappointing. I rather let you know, guys, that you should try to play the older version and play it on the hardest difficulty, and if you manage to kill not just one boss but all of them, and you also get to the mongoose fight and you finish it like I did, then let me know in the comments, because I wanna hear it, how you actually finished off that mongoose, that bastard. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. There will be more content that just gonna come out, and if you enjoyed it, please make sure that like the video, subscribe and follow me on YouTube and on other platforms as well to get notified, and share it with your friends. Have a nice day guys, bye.